Fakes left, now taken off. Gonna run for it. They got it! And there he goes! The 6 and the 10 to 5. Oh, the play of the year in the NFL.
Welcome everyone back to another episode of Buzz Mafia. This is episode 2. We had a great weekend with Leafs and Bills, so podcast stays alive. Thank God. There's a risk there. Mark Andrews almost canceled the podcast, but we're still going to go on. The Leafs almost canceled the podcast too, but we had a great weekend for both of us. I know Jackson had a great weekend. Don't talk too much about the Bills game, but how was your weekend up in Buffalo for the big win?
Oh, pretty calm weekend. Nothing too crazy. Just got to see the Bills go out there and dominate. Mark Andrews going to be getting a pile of buffalo chicken wings and maybe some scotch down the road, depending on how he plays next year. Yeah. Huge friend of the program now. Love him to death. You know what?
I DM'd him. Hopefully he comes on the pod to discuss it. To be like, hey, why'd you do this to Buffalo? Why are you a fan? Why are you a fan of the program? But
you know what? He already hit my line. He was like, I got to come on. I got to tell you what happened. But no, huge weekend. Obviously sad for my brother. Huge Ravens fan. Love him to death. We've watched the Ravens win a Super Bowl. Bills have never won a Super Bowl. Been to the Super Bowl 4 times. I wasn't even alive. You talk to my dad about it, though. He will tell you it is painful. Big game coming up, but let's get into some hockey first.
Yeah, last week we didn't talk too much about hockey. It's kind of, I think I told you this earlier, it's kind of like the lull season, like midway. I mean, obviously the JT Miller talk is kind of livening things up a bit, but middle of the season, not a lot of trades. All-Star game's still like a month away. Trade deadline's a month and a half away, but it's starting to pick up things. The Eastern Conference is a fucking dong show right now, and I love it. But let's break down the Leafs' last few games. I think last week I said we're going to lose to Dallas, lose to the Devils, then beat both the Atlantic Division. So we lost to Dallas, at least lost to Dallas 4-1. Just overall not a great game. I don't think they played horrendous. I think first period is pretty competitive. Matthews looked unbelievable. But Dallas is one of the best teams in the league. Did you get a chance to watch that game?
I watched a bit of it. I'm not going to lie. It was super fun to watch at the beginning, and then it was just that Dallas just lit it up, and it was like the first period.
Shane goal.
Man.
Yeah. He's the most underrated player. The fact that he makes $3 million, he's like a point per game player, he's insane. I love Matthew Shane. I told you. He did on-spin chicklets, hearing him everything. Like I love him so much.
He's from Halliburton, where my cottage is, and he hosts a golf tournament up there every year. It's a gong show. But no, great guy. And behind it, I mean, you see a goal like that when someone goes through the legs, and it's like almost like you're not impressed anymore because you see it 24/7 in the NHL.
Michigan now. I mean, I'm so impressed by the Michigan, but I mean, I see it a lot. I see attempts at it, but yeah, that's just a good team. I think Dallas is. I mean, I'm so surprised Edmonton beat them last year in the conference finals, but that's a wagon. If they make another move, I'm hearing JT Miller, Dallas rumors. That would be a joke for them if they got him. That would be scary.
That would be ridiculous.
Let's move on to the Devils game. Incredible game. Poppy 2 goals. He is just absolutely on fire. When he gets going, he's a man amongst boys. I mean, he's like 6'3", 225. He can win faceoffs. He PKs, 2 tucks. He's clutch. His 2 goals are absolute rips. I think that just proves that he's back and he's ready to dominate the league again after his injury.
Man, the way that I feel like I say this every year, especially when I'm talking with my family, and obviously I don't know a ton about hockey. I just love watching it. But the way that they celebrate after the goals makes me so happy. It is
jealous, honestly.
Dude, it's the best. It's like you just out there with your boys. It's like, yeah, let me just rip one real quick and then just I don't know.
I thought we dominated the game and we had over 40 shots. I think we had close to 50 after overtime. Nylander, he is the cherry
Keith's face. Did you see Keith's face?
Oh, he just
Matthews rips it and he just
they're 0-3 this year. Last 2 games, I think the Devils completely dominated. I think last time they played Devils, it was that like 45-15 shot game. Then Poppy overtime. Who else but Big Tone? And he gets the overtime winner. But again, Nylander is the cherry pick king. He just huddles around the blue line. Then he walks in. He doesn't even like rip the puck. He just kind of just flicks it on net. He has the most accurate shot I've ever seen. He doesn't really snipe it. He doesn't really have the shot like Matthews or Draisaitl, all these guys. He just knows where to put it. And again, it's not quick. It's just off his stick and it's just the perfect above the pad. It doesn't really go like bar down ever. It's just the perfect spot. How it takes the helmet off, and he's like, all right,
there it is. Yeah, no, man, the way that he skates around all of the defenders is so incredible to me because it's like he's not even trying.
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous. It's like, man, I can barely walk in a straight line, and this guy, this guy can.
It's the same thing with Nylander. We just need him to be more consistent. Like I think Overdrive said it once. It's basically like he plays well when he wants to play well. I think we need him to be more motivated throughout the year because when Matthews plays like a man amongst boys like that, Marner 3 assists, Nylander just skating end to end. We're a tough team to beat. And I mean, that showed, and we're going to head over to Montreal now. Down 0-3. Even when we were down 0-3, I thought we were the better team. I think Montreal, they were just getting the bounces right. Doc had a good game. Anderson had a good game. Wall was the MVP. That game could have easily been 6-0 before we came back. But again, just Matthews' shorthanded goal. I think they had like 5 different goal scorers. Did you catch that entire game?
Man, so I started watching it. Went over to the fiance's parents' house for dinner. Started watching it. We were sitting there, and her dad is a pretty big hockey fan, and we're sitting there, and it was like, look up, 1-0. All right, whatever. And to be honest, Montreal was putting it like the pace Montreal came out and playing at. Like Marty St. Louis got those boys flying around the ice.
And that arena is buzzing when they get an early lead. Holy shit. When they scored to make it 1-0, that place exploded.
I won't lie. I hate the Montreal fans. But watching them after the games, have you ever seen the videos of them after the games just in the street, drunk as fuck, chanting?
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's the best. You're like,
so funny.
It's the best. But no, I was sitting there, it was down 3-0. And I was like, all right, one of my buddies from high school was like, hey, you want to go out and get a beer? So we go out to get a beer, pull up to the bar. Second period, it's 3-3 or whatever, and then out of nowhere we're driving back, and I put the game on my phone. It's 6-3, and then they took the last one. I was like, 7 unanswered is insane.
Yeah, it's insane. And it's hilarious how Matthews got his first ever shorthanded goal. But if you watch the goal, it was 4-on-4. Then Marner passes Matthews the puck when it just became shorthanded. He scores like, oh, Matthews' first ever shorthanded goal. It's like, you didn't really do. Like he wasn't PKing then. He literally was 4-on-4, and they happened to come out of the box. First shorthanded goal. I mean, we'll take it. That's one on the board. Big tone. But yeah, great game. It's funny when Bobby McMahon scored with Nyes' stick. That was funny.
No, it was funny.
And Jack Eye, that was hilarious.
Funny.
People are roasting him online. If I was Jack Eye, I would have done the exact same thing.
I would have done the exact same thing.
You're on by me. Go fuck yourself. Check the board. I would have done the exact same thing.
Man. Yes, that's anytime I was playing football and we were whooping a team and some kid was getting lippy, or even like I was coaching the team this year and the kids start getting lippy and we're up like 41-20. I was like, boys, just give a little point to the scoreboard and walk away. You'll shut them up real quick.
It was such a dope plan. He's doing like the shoe away too.
Yeah.
Again, I would have done the same thing. Just you don't expect him to score 7 fucking on his.
Did you see him in Rempe?
Yeah, the last
heavyweight tilt.
Rempe, dude, he is not a good fighter. I'm so shocked how he's still getting NHL chances. He can't skate. If you look at his junior A stats, he barely put up numbers. He's called up just to fight, and he's not even a good fighder. He can barely stand.
It's so wild. But when people post, like, you see, like, the hockey influencers, like, you got Coach Chippy and all these guys. There's a picture of Coach Chippy. He's at a restaurant, and he's like 5'6", and Rempe's holding him by the shirt. You're like, God damn, man, that's a giant on skates.
Yeah, so that's a big win. The 2 big wins for Toronto. They play Tampa tonight on Amazon Prime. Tampa's absolutely buzzing. The Eastern Conference is crazy. Buffalo's kind of the only team that's kind of out of it. But again, like the second last team, the Islanders, they're like 5 points out. And I think right now Ottawa's in and Columbus is in, but I mean, Pittsburgh, Rangers, Montreal, they're all like a point out of the playoffs. I kind of hope both Canadian teams make it. I want as many Canadian teams in the playoffs as we can. Right now, Ottawa's in. I mean, Montreal's like a point out, maybe even tied with the last wild card spot. Calgary jumped Vancouver. Vancouver's like a point out. I don't know if there's ever been a time when, or at least in this expansion era, that every single Canadian team has made the playoffs. I doubt it has. That'd be crazy.
I hardly doubt it. I feel the best chance, or no, not the best chance. I was going to say the best chance would have been 2020 because that was when it was all the whole Canada League or whatever. That was
Yeah,
so
the
crazy.
North Division.
Yeah, that was so crazy. I always forget about that it was just Canadian teams playing each other 24/7.
Yeah, and I think Toronto absolutely wrecked everyone, and then playoffs. Obviously, we lose to Montreal. So
and Johnny T gets absolutely destroyed by Corey Perry.
Oh my god, yeah, he got a fucking knee to the dome. He got curb stomped on the ice. Basically, it's just fucking insane. That was scary. He fell back. He was on his knees.
That was like the McCabe thing, man. The McCabe thing was horrifying. I don't think I've ever seen a hockey player hit his head so hard on the ice, and then the knee comes straight down on the guy's head. And then when he flopped over backwards, Morgan Riley's sitting there, like puts him in his cradle. I was like, God damn, man. Like,
Watching the game, it's so big to have McCabe back. I love McCabe. I think he is.
I love him too.
I hear this term a lot growing up. He's like a stabilizer. He's not going to get a lot of points. He's not really going to flash or get any power play time, but he just breaks it out. He'll hit anyone, fight anyone, and he's so good defensively. It's so good to have him back. We definitely need another defenseman. And one of the notes I wrote down here is Riley just isn't it anymore. I love him. I love Mo. I mean, I wanted him to be captain when it was done. This discussion between Tavares and Matthews. I will never want to see him traded. I want him to retire blue and white. But we need another guy because our power play struggled when he was on that unit. I don't hate him as a second unit guy. Kind of get that last 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I don't hate the 5 forward group power play. I mean, fuck, just put your 5 best players out there. Who gives a shit? But we need another puck-moving defenseman. We don't need any more shutdown. I'm hearing, Leafs need like another Luke Shen, all this. Our defensive side of the game is pretty solid. We're not letting a lot of goals. McCabe's awesome. I mean, Tanev's one of the best defensive defensemen in the league. We need another puck-moving two-way defenseman right now. And I don't really know who's on the market right now, but that's definitely what the Leafs need, and Riley needs to kind of lower those minutes right now.
Man, yeah. I feel, especially from last year, like Riley's always been one of my favorite players to watch. And he may not talk a lot, but like just the way that he skates and his knowledge of the game is so impressive. And then you sit there and you see him this year, and it's like, man, there's certain plays. It's like, who's actually surprised me a lot this year is Benoit. I
like Benoit a lot. I like it. That's why I say we don't need another tough enforcer defenseman. We have Benoit. Tanev's an incredible defensive defenseman. Jake McCabe. We need a puck-moving guy. I'm trying to think of an option like a Shane Goss's bear, even though he'll never get moved. Just a guy. I don't want a pure offense. I don't want like an Eric Carlson or something like that. But like I want just a guy who can play a second unit power play or move the puck and everything. Not play with Riley, kind of split them up. But yeah, that's kind of obviously there's the centerman issues that we kind of need. Even though we've played pretty well without Tavares, that's a huge loss. Hopefully he's okay. But yeah, I think that's the two needs is another depth centerman like a Brock Nelson, Yanni Gore, like we've talked about. Obviously, Kadri would be my dream, but I don't think we can afford it. It makes like over $7 million a year. And then a defenseman. I low-key would rather another defenseman than a centerman. I think we can live off Matthews, Tavares, Domi. But if we can get both, that'd be ideal for the Leafs up to the deadline, which is, I think, in a month or so.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of will. It depends on what the move is. Like, if they go with both, the move is like they think they got a chance to get a deep run, in my opinion, right? Like, I mean, the defenseman is like you think you're gonna be able to get there, but if you go with both, you get a centerman and you get the offensive kind of defenseman. Like you're trying to make a deep run, and I think obviously you're trying to make a deep run every year, but it doesn't matter. You get to the playoffs, it's different. Like you're seeing it in the NFL right now. You see it in every single sport.
Yeah. And people are saying like, oh, we shouldn't trade Nick Robertson anymore. He's playing too well. This is the perfect time to trade him. He should be the focal point of any trade. He was dog shit at the beginning of the year. You can say all you want that it was ice time. He got the ice time. He didn't do fucking shit. He's playing great with that Domi McMahon line, and that's the thing. Like I don't want to break that lineup, but if you can get him, if you can put him in a package with like a third rounder and get a very good like a Yanni Gord, Brock Nelson, or an offensive defenseman, I do that in a heartbeat because I don't think his stock's going to get any higher. I think it's perfect where it is right now, and you just don't want to worry about it getting lower and then going another 20 games without a goal. So I like him. He's getting opportunities, and at the early in his career he wasn't given opportunities, but I just think his stock won't get any higher. So I think we should unload him as a centerpiece for a player that we need.
I like the way that he plays, and I think a huge kind of changing factor for him is Craig Berube. Like him having an
for
actual hard coach, especially now. Like you hear guys talk about it all the time, former NHLers or even guys who are currently in the league a little bit older. Like those guys were used to harder coaches, whereas certain coaches now a little bit softer. You know, like you need someone, especially with a team that has struggled in the playoffs with physicality, being blown off the puck. Like you need someone who's going to come in. And I think that's why Robertson has gotten, like even Bobby McMahon. Bobby McMahon has made a leaps and bounds jump. Like he was good last year. I did like him last year, but this year he leaps and bounds over.
Yeah. We definitely missed him in the playoffs last year. He was that power forward, third line guy that when he got hurt before the playoffs, that was brutal. And yeah, like he can skate. He's a big boy. He's just a perfect depth piece that the Leafs have always needed come playoff time. And again, like we said last time, Leafs are first in the division still. We have 4-point lead over Florida. We have like a 6-point lead over Tampa, who we played tonight. This would be a huge win. This would be a statement win in Toronto. But yeah, I think we've talked about the Leafs. I want to talk about JT Miller a little bit. That Vancouver situation is such bullshit. Like it's my brother's a Vancouver fan. It's in every coach and every player, like even myself, you don't like, it's like your workplace. You don't like everyone you work with, but you have to respect one another. But this is the case where it's just past that. They do not like each other. I don't know why, but it seems like JT Miller is the piece that's going to go. I'm here in New York Rangers. There was a trade. Did you hear the trade that was nixed over the weekend?
Yeah, it was. Wasn't it 1-for-1?
No, it was. At first I heard Lafreniere deals, which I think I asked my brother, and that would be a steal for Vancouver, in my opinion. But it was Lindgren, Hedel, and I think a protected first. And again, I think you do that in a heartbeat. I think just to move on, Vancouver is one of the weakest D-cores in the league. You have a MVP caliber defenseman in Quinn Hughes, but after that, it's like Tyler Myers, and it just drops. Getting a solid defensive defenseman, Lindgren, a young kind of skilly forward in Hedel, and a first-round pick to just resolve this issue, I think you do it. And also, I think that you can get more out of a package of JT Miller than Elias Pettersson. JT Miller, he's a playoff guy. 32 years old. He's a centerman, win draws. He'll fight anyone he can score. Like that game, I don't know if you watched that game against Edmonton on Saturday. That just raised his stock so much. I mean, he scored 100 points like last year or 2 years ago. And Pettersson, I mean, I think Miller has 2 more years at like $8.5, $9 million, where Pettersson, he just signed an $11.5 million deal, and he's not playing even close to that. So I feel like you get a lot more of a package in Miller, and I think that's what they should do. And I think he's going to be gone within the next few weeks here.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. When it comes to hockey, the only reason the Vancouver Canucks get on my radar is because of Joey Kolkas from Ponto Sports. but no, yeah, like I'll never forget when the Canucks lost in Game 7 to the Bruins, because my uncle lives in BC, and there was a riots, and my mom was on the phone immediately to her brother like, don't you dare go out. Don't you dare do anything. But, I mean, just from a straight locker room standpoint, like you see it everywhere. You see it a lot more in the NFL because the personalities in the NFL are crazy. You got like the Diggs drama. You even had a bit of the Jamar Chase drama. But
also, the roster is like double in size in NFL, right? So that's why there's so many. There's like more separate groups in the NFL. You'll have kind of the country boys, and you'll just have like different, where hockey is a lot more tighter in my opinion. So when you have one guy or two guys who just don't get along, it's just going to ripple affect the entire team. Yeah. And it's seen that they're out of the playoffs. Last year they were a win away from the conference finals, so this issue needs to resolve. I mean, I think most Canucks fans would want it to just be them both keep staying or stay, but I think we're way past that. I think one of them has to go, and it's probably going to be JT Miller.
I think you get to a point too, as a fan anywhere, it's like you get to a point where it's like, all right, I don't want our name to keep coming up on TSN updates. Like, I don't want to see JT Miller and Vancouver Canucks. You don't want to see that. So like, and Pettersson has, like, he obviously played well enough to earn that contract. And if it's seriously this situation that is weighing him down on the ice, then make the move. Like at some point you have to play, at some point as an owner or coach or GM, you have to play parent and be like, all right, enough.
Yeah.
Let's go our separate ways. And
And it's like even it just showed because I think when remember JT Miller went through that mental health thing, which by the way, I hope it's okay. I mean, I'm not dogging the guy. He's an incredible player, but he went to this mental health kind of leave. And during that stretch, Pedersen was unbelievable. He had like 2 points a game. And I don't know what podcast it was, but a former Canuck, Brad Richardson, he went on and he said, I've told, because he used to play with them, he said, I've told JT Miller multiple times, you are way too hard on this kid. So it's out there. It's not like it's a rumor. It's out there. And they've said that. And yeah, I understand the NHL is a different place. It's not like the 80s and 90s. Like I remember someone I was on Twitter and like, yeah, you're complaining about two teammates arguing, but there's a literally video. You know Mike Keenan?
No, I don't.
He's like an old Hall of Fame coach, toughest coach that ever was. There's literally a clip of on there yelling at a player, then full on strangling him on the bench.
Oh, there we go. That's good.
So it's a different game, but again, you have to adapt to that. And it's JT Miller. It's like, okay, I'm bringing this kid down. Why do I keep doing it? That's the thing. You got to be okay. We can fucking win. We can win, but he can't get out of his own way. So I think he's going to be gone. And I think they can get a good package out of it. And I think Vancouver can just move on from this, and Pedersen and Miller can both just move on. Yeah.
No, I agree. It sucks to see too, because especially JT Miller's not getting any younger. Pedersen is
32, 33.
Right? Like Pedersen's in, getting towards what would be his prime. Like how old is Pedersen? He's got to be what, 20?
26. So he's like middle of his prime, 26, 27.
Yeah, middle of his prime. Like if you're a smart GM, like you're making calls now. Like you need to make calls. You need to realize that, you're wasting it's like it's not fair to Miller, and it's also not fair to your organization and Pedersen. Like make a decision. Like it's either shit or get off the pot,
Yeah. And it's funny to think, because I think Miller is on Team USA for Four Nations. If you don't think he's gonna fucking line up PD at the Four Nations tournament, even if he doesn't get traded, he's gonna like, oh baby, oh mama. He is gonna line him up, knees gone, head gone. And it's going to be an absolute decapitation, and I can't wait for that.
I am so pumped for that, man. I'm so pumped for the Four Nations.
I know. It's going to be awesome. I think it's in a month or a few weeks here.
Yeah, it's the end of February, closer to the
end of February. So we'll talk to that about that closer too. But do you see? I'll talk about McDavid real quick. Do you see his little cheap shot in that Vancouver game?
Yeah, I just got an alert from TSN. So. They both got suspended 3 games.
Oh, 3 games. All right.
3 games is.
I mean, it's so there. I don't know if you remember the outdoor game between Toronto and Buffalo where Matthews did basically the same thing and got 2 games. So I mean, I'm fine with that. People are all over Twitter, dude. Edmonton and Vancouver fans. So Edmonton and Vancouver fans fucking despise each other, and so do Ottawa, Montreal fans. And then kind of everyone hates Toronto, obviously. But yeah, it's insane. Like they're saying, whatever Myers gets, McDavid should get. But McDavid's been on kind of a dirty streak here. I don't know if you saw his play. I think it was against Minnesota, where he gave that guy the chicken wing and completely just hit him right in the head.
Yeah. It kind of went unnoticed at first, and then Twitter blew up. I don't know. I was talking about it yesterday with my dad, and like while we were on the way to Buffalo, and I was like, at some point, it's like you just got to kind of lay down the law and be like, hey. Yeah, hockey, we play hard, we hit hard, but there's no room in the sport for that kind of stuff, especially when you see stuff like that happen with like Jake McCabe and stuff like that. Like, you're playing with skates on, first of all, and second of all, you're playing on ice. Like, any head contact that could, like, if you hit him square and he falls back, hits his head on the ice, like, you gotta be smart. He's one of, if not the best hockey player in the NHL currently. Going to go down in the history books 100%, whether he wins a cup or not. And I am sure that in one point in his tenure, he's going to win a cup.
I'd bet the house that he wins a Stanley Cup.
Yes.
I don't. He may not be with Edmonton. He may not be with Edmonton, but I'd bet the house that he wins a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's smart. It sets a precedent for the league too that superstars can't get away with this shit. Yeah. Like
imagine if Myers got 3 games and McDavid got 1 though. That would have set fire online. I will say, I mean, a cross check to the face is a cross check to the face. Myers was definitely more deliberate. I thought it was a little bit worse, but I think it was the right call. I thought they'd both get either 2 or both get 3, so it makes sense. And But dude, Edmonton is humming right now. They're like top 5 in the league. Drysdale is probably the favorite for MVP right now. I mean, McDavid, everyone is just absolutely humming. They signed Klingberg, and I tweeted about it. I mean, if Klingberg can play, because he was a star in Dallas, he was really good. Then he went to Anaheim, was decent. I said if he can play like he did in Anaheim, they'll be solid because that's their weakest point. Edmonton is the defense. If he plays like he did in Toronto, they might get worse. He's playing with like half a leg, no hip. So, I mean, he was just completely injured. But if he plays even like half what he did in Dallas, I think that's a great signing for Edmonton. They definitely need defensemen.
Yeah. And they have so much talent on that team too. It's like just plug and play, dude. Just play hard defense and just let the playmakers score. Like you're gonna score goals. Doesn't matter whether you're having a shit night or not. They're at least scoring goals. Like you have too many playmakers on that team to not. So yeah, I think it's a great signing. We were talking about it in the office. The only thing is just he was, again, I don't know everything about hockey. He drove me nuts. Nuts.
It was one of the worst. It
was like him. It was like watching him and what's his name, Justin Hull. Justin Hull drove me through the roof.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
I'd rather Justin Hull than John Klingberg during Toronto. That's how bad he was at that time. But again, I think he literally had a torn ACL. His hip was dislocated. So you never know. But yeah, again, if he's healthy and he can play the 50% of what he was, that's a great signing for them. Other than that, do you have any more hockey talk before we move to the main event in the NFL?
No, I got nothing. I've been sitting over here giddy.
All right,
let's get a nice little build up. Go through all the games. I'll give you.
I think we'll get a build up. So first AFC game of KC versus Houston. Kansas City were 6-point favorites. Kansas City came out with the win, 23-12. Kelsey touchdown. Mahomes didn't look great. Obviously, some controversial calls. So let's talk right about those calls right away. So the one on Will Anderson Jr., a tough, unnecessary roughness, but at the same time, you know it's Mahomes. Why you just dive in head first? It's kind of like understand who you're playing against. Yeah.
Yes, I understand where Texans fans are coming from, and if I was Bill, like if the Bills were playing KC and they called that, I'd be livid. I would be doing the exact same thing. But when you sit back and you actually watch it, you have to watch the replay at least 3 times from 3 separate angles to realize, he doesn't necessarily actually hit him in the head. What he should have done, obviously, playing defense, especially D-line, and you get a free chance to hit the quarterback and there's no one in front of your face, first thing you want to do is just lay him out. But at least move your head to the side a little bit. It's tough while you're in the game, but you get paid in the NFL to make those decisions. And like the unnecessary roughness call, that one to me was like, when you watch the replay, a little bit more egregious. And Mahomes knows what he's doing, though. That's the thing. Is
he's going to fucking run around in circles. He's going to make them miss, and then he's like, I'm going to slide, and I know they're going to come at me, and they're likely going to call it.
And you know who does it just as much, if not more? You could probably make an hour-long highlight reel of Josh Allen flopping. You want to know why they do it? Because they know they can get the call. The whole thing in the NFL now is protecting the quarterback as well as protecting the players. Quarterback is getting hit more often than most players. So you're taking unnecessary shots. Do I think that the unnecessary roughness call where he slid and was going to run out of bounds and then walked himself back in and blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, it probably shouldn't have been a penalty. But if you're a referee and all you see is Patrick Mahomes going down to slide and you see 2 Texans defenders come in, clearly loud head contact from the Texans defenders hitting themselves, not even Patrick Mahomes got hit on the ground, 100%. But, like, they almost knocked each other out of the game, let alone Patrick Mahomes. Like, it's like, in this day and age in the NFL, you really need to make sure that you are, play 100%, play to the whistle. Got it. You're playing against a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, not even a Jared Goff, because we had to sit through 4 hours of the stupidest penalties on earth, and then Jared Goff throws an interception and gets blown up to fucking Hoth. Like, he gets destroyed, and it's, no problem. Even in the Bills game yesterday, we're sitting there, we're in the 17th row in the 100 section, and Terrell Bernard's chasing Lamar Jackson out of bounds, and he like hip drop tackles him, which is a penalty now. And it's been one of the most inconsistent penalties called all year because refs, the game goes so fast, it's so hard to decipher as someone is tackling someone. Is like, well, that's kind of a hip drop, kind of not. You have guys like Derrick Henry who are going to drag guys for 4 or 5 yards. At some point, yes, you want to protect players' ankles. You don't want to see star players, star running backs, star quarterbacks get hip drop tackled. But at the end of the day, this goes back to what we were talking about with the Texans. Like those 2 penalties didn't stop you from scoring more points.
You scored 12 points. What are you gonna? What do you like? It's like those 2 penalties. Yeah, you scored 12 points. So
also,
really
maybe have your kicker kick outside in the goddamn cold before you go up to Kansas City. Like,
I hate the Chiefs, but it's like you scored 12 points. Yeah, those 2 penalties, they suck, but they didn't change the game that much. They sucked, and maybe something. Who knows? Maybe fucking would get a pick after, but end of the day, you scored 12 points. You know, I don't know how many field goals you got, but it's just like, what are you gonna do?
The 1 touchdown throw Mahomes threw, like that's up there for me this year of like craziest touchdown throws. You have a few Josh Allen touchdown throws. You have the 1 Joe Burrow touchdown throw where he is literally parallel with the ground.
Well, Goff won against the Commanders too this week.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but it's like you're playing the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Do I think the Chiefs pay the refs? And do I think a documentary is going to come out later down the line with Netflix? Yeah, 100%. 30 for 30. Give it to me, baby. But at the end of the day, it's coming. But at the end of the day, like the Chiefs outplayed them. Their defense had 8 sacks.
Chris Jones was a menace out there.
George Karlaftis played the best game I think I've ever seen a linebacker play.
Yeah,
and their D-line was so powerful and dominant. And that was the one thing I've been saying all year about the Texans. Texans are a great team. Super offensive power. They are 2 years, in my opinion, away from making a deeper run into the playoffs, getting to a championship game because their O-line is the problem. And when you have CJ Stroud, and my one thing when CJ Stroud got drafted was that he wasn't super mobile. Now, did rush for like almost 50 yards. So, and on a bum knee, like when he
was limping every play. And when you're landing hard in the hole, that makes it worse.
Man, the one play on 3rd down, 3rd and 10, you roll out to the right and you're like, oh, no one's open, gonna run it. And you get 2 yards. And you get tackled out of bounds. And you know that you have another 3 quarters of hard playoff football left. And you get tackled out of bounds and then you get up limping. Like at some point, just cut your losses, throw the ball away, live to see another down. Yes, it's playoffs. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is on the other side. But the start of the game, they start off with a 65-yard kickoff return, fumble the ball. Of course, the Chiefs get it back. And then your defense holds them. Like, in my opinion, when I saw that, I was like, oh, my God, the Texans might win. I know that's crazy to think in the first quarter, but holding the Chiefs, and obviously there's rust. Patrick Mahomes hadn't played for 23 days, just had a kid, right? Like, you know, a lot of stuff happened within that time period. But, like, I was never in my life. I said I was going to take the Texans just for fun. I could not convince myself to just throw my money to Vegas. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
See you later. You know, and Kelsey, I know we were kind of ripping on him in the office. Yes, he might have run slow, but the one 49-yard pass in, I think, the second quarter, like, he made a defender miss, and then, like, he's 35. He's 35 at the top end of his career, going to retire an absolute Hall of Famer, is first in almost every single category when it comes to receiving yard. I think Jerry Rice hasn't beaten 2 categories, but he's first in receiving touchdowns. Like, again, one of the, if not the best tight ends in the NFL. I would argue Gronkowski, but, you know, it's kind of a toss-up. Like, they're 2 of the best tight ends ever. Like, I don't know. Oh,
I mean, that's just I mean, that's kind of the way we expected of it. I didn't think KC was going to blow them out, but I think cover the spread. And I did think that into a KC playoff game, I always think there's going to be a reffing issue. Not reffing issue that just changed the game, but there's going to be some chaos from it. And that's what happened. But yeah, nothing more. Let's save the best for last. Let's move on quick. We'll do the NFC quickly. There's the biggest upset I've ever seen. Detroit, Washington. Detroit entered the game 9-point favorites over the Detroit Lions. Commanders won 45-31. And just simply, Goff was horrible. 3 interceptions. Defense lost them the game. And just Jaden Daniels is him. I think we said in the office, this is probably, actually, I don't think it's probably, this is the best rookie season of all time.
Yeah, one of the. I would argue Kurt Warner, but he technically wasn't a drafted rookie.
So I was looking at today. I was like, a Kurt Warner technically played a game the year prior, but his first full season he won MVP and Super Bowl MVP. But if you talk about technicality, then no. But same thing. But if you look at technicality again, only quarterback to have 3,500 passing yards and 800 rushing yards, and it's insane. He doesn't look like a quarterback, but he is the most calm quarterback I've ever seen for that young in the pocket. And he just throws floaters to Scary Terry, and it's insane to watch.
I love Terry McLaurin.
He's one of my favorite receivers in the league.
I love him. Did you see what Le'Veon Bell tweeted?
No, I didn't.
Dan Campbell's press conference. It's my fault. It's my fault. And obviously Dan Campbell's upset. And if there's one coach in the NFL I'd love to play for, be Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
100%. Just absolute players guy. Love him. Like the videos of him training camp when he's talking about doing 2-a-days with pads on, and he's like, "Oh, just trust me. You have to trust me. I care about you guys. I fucking care about you guys." Like that is injected into my veins. That's heroin to me. But Le'Veon Bell tweets, "Dan, it's not your fault. It's a team game. It can't just be one guy's fault, blah, 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 blah." And then the end of the tweet is, "We all know whose fault it really is," insinuating Jared Goff threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
Did not look great. It's just funny. But that going into that game, I was so surprised they were 9-point favorites. You're at home. I get it. But you have 18 players on the IR. You have Alex Anzalone, who is coming back of having a crazy surgery to his forearm.
This craziest scar I've ever seen.
We were talking about it today. Like the 2024 Lions are like what the 2019 Ravens were.
Yeah.
Put up the regular season banner. You're regular season champions. Everyone, you're plus 290 to win the goddamn Super Bowl. You're regular season champions. It's horrible, but the city of Detroit is like, man. And the one thing that killed me is like, I feel for their fans. There was a kid at the Bills game yesterday. He showed up in a David Montgomery jersey, and I went up to him and I go, "Buddy, come here." And he goes, "What?" And I go, "Give me a hug. I feel so fucking bad for you." It's like I can't do it. Like it's seeing a grown man with face paint on, sitting in his chair,
I like you said, I love Dan Campbell, but just let's fuck off with the trick plays. Like you need yards. Why are we doing a rollout Jameson Williams 20-yard bomb? Why the hell are we? It doesn't. Yes, you can gain momentum, but not in a divisional round against a team you're losing. I think they were losing by like 2 scores at that point. Why are you running these plays? Let's get some downs. Let's rely on our defense. Why are we doing this shit? It's Detroit. They can get momentum out of anything. We don't need a fucking trick play yard from Jameson Williams, who, by the way, he's insane. That run he had, he is a flash of lightning. But it's just it's the same thing that bit him last year. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't know. Let's put it to bed. I care.
You want to get to the AFC, but let's talk about the last NFC game. It was Philly Rams. Philly was 6-point favorites. They won 28-22. Jalen Carter might be the most disruptive player in the entire NFL. He is insane. He had his paws on every single defensive play. He will talk shit to anyone. He'll talk shit to his coach. He was talking shit to Jared Verse before the game, who ripped on Philadelphia. Who, by the way, Jared Verse had a game, though. I know it kind of bit him in the ass. He had a game.
Gross. Defensive rookie of the year, in my opinion. It's either him.
I didn't even know he was a rookie.
He's a rookie. It's either him or Quinyon Mitchell. And Quinyon Mitchell, like when he got hurt in the beginning of the game, it looks like he might have really hurt his shoulder. Like he is so good. Him and Cooper DeJean, like 2 easily best rookie starters.
Yeah.
Like crazy good. And say what you want about the Rams. As soon as it started snowing, I was like, all right.
Yeah. I said it was over.
And you know what? They put it on them. Like towards the end, they made it a game. Like 28-22. We were trying to watch.
Luka made that insane catch from left to right over his shoulder, because he didn't. Besides that catch, he didn't do too much. I think he still had like 70-something yards. But I mean, Cooper Kupp had like 20 yards. Kyron Williams had over 100. But again, like I don't know. Stafford was giving it all he had. I think He might even fucking retire anymore. His body's in shambles.
I would. If I was him, I would. It was so funny. Taylor and I were watching the game. My fiance, we were watching the Rams game last week, and they panned to Matt Stafford, and she goes, "Who's that?" It's like Matthew Stafford, and then I start going through the whole diatribe. He's played in Detroit and with blah 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 and this and that, and now he's on the Rams and won Super Bowl. And she looks at me, she goes, "He's hot."
he's a good looking dude. He went to Georgia.
Dude.
Sure.
Oh, little fixed teeth too with him. You got the fucking whitest teeth I've ever seen in my life.
I saw on Instagram, and it was like this highlight of him playing like flag football for this prep camp, and his arms were like Popeye's arms at 16, and he was throwing missiles at kids. It was insane. I want to talk about the insane bet I hit. I was just like, fuck it, let's just have some fun. I said Matthew Stafford, 25 or over completions, no interceptions, 2 passing touchdowns, $2 to win like $70. Absolute ka-ching. And people are saying, I was talking to my dad about it. He's like, oh, it's a snow game. Like, they should be running more. How'd you hit that bet? Because 25 is a lot of completions, right? But I'm like, sometimes the snow game, you want to throw the ball more because as a defender, when you're backpedaling, like, it's hard to transition to a receiver, though. So if you just have a go route on someone, it's so much easier than, like, look at Kieran Williams. I think he fumbled the ball twice, and dropped the ball twice. So I was pretty happy to hit that bet. It was a big payday. Stafford definitely made it interesting at the end, but again, we're going to see. I hate Philadelphia. I hate Jalen Hurts. I think I've said that multiple times, but yeah.
Yeah, the Lions screwed me. My parlay would have hit. I had Chiefs. I took the Lions because I couldn't convince myself to take the Commanders. I had Philly, and I took the Bills. And it was not a great, like, I think it was 5 to pay out 65 or 70. But it's like, I don't know. I need a little bit of money riding into Sunday, and plus the national championships tonight. So, you know.
Yes, but yeah, also I'll quickly talk about Saquon. He's the best player in the NFL. Like, he is. I was looking at it because if they win, or at least if they go to the Super Bowl, you could argue it's the best free agent signing of all time. I was looking at other ones. So number one on most lists is Reggie White, one of the best defensive players of all time. I think he went from Philly to Green Bay. He kind of took, Brett Favre had all the offensive statistics, but Reggie White helped with that defense. They won a few Super Bowls. Obviously, there's Drew Brees, went from the Chargers to the Saints. Obviously, that's a big free agent signing. Peyton Manning's one, of course. But if they win a Super Bowl this year, just one and done just like that after 2,000 yards, I think it has to be one of the best free agent signings of all time.
Man, for as much as I love Lamar and Josh and 2 of the craziest seasons, and for Lamar, obviously, like one of the best statistical seasons. Saquon has got to be like them. Yeah. Philly without Saquon, for Nick Sirianni's gone in the middle of the season for real. Like gone. And it's like running backs don't get the credit, but he's one that should. Like Derrick Henry immediately obviously gets the credit, over 2,000 yards. I was reading a statistic the other day, or no, just under 2,000 yards, 1,900, I think. And it's the first time ever that someone has run for over 2,000 yards, and the next closest person was like 100 or over 1,800 yards. Everyone else usually is like, if someone's over 2,000 yards, everyone else is like 1,500. Yeah.
I want to do a little "Would you rather" segment with you right now.
If you're Jalen Hurts, teasing me, give me Buffalo.
We're almost there. Quick little "Would you rather," because again, I just despise Jalen Hurts. I think he's the most boring quarterback. To me, he's just so overrated. But this is not about kind of career arc, what they could be, contract. This is just healthy, prime on prime. Who would you rather have? All right, over Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love?
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott?
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts or Jayden Daniels?
Jayden Daniels.
Jalen Hurts or Sam Darnold?
Hurts. Fuck. No, I want to give it to Darnay. I want to give it to Darnay so bad.
I'm going to do a dirty one on you right now. Jalen Hurts or Baker?
Baker, are you fucking kidding? That's a guy's guy. That's my type of fucking guy. I love that.
Final one, Jalen Hurts or Jared Goff?
Goff.
I think I would have done everyone there over Hurts. Maybe not Darnold. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just not a fan. I don't know.
I like Jordan Love a lot. It's just the NFC has a problem with just overpaying quarterbacks. It's like, man, like let them get a couple. Like Jordan Love's deal is crazy. He's great, played great. But like you get to the playoffs, you gotta shine, man. Like that's what you see with a lot of these quarterbacks. Is like you get to the playoffs, it's it's a team game, but it really relies on you.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
all right, well, we're gonna stop the tease right there. We're gonna talk about the main event.
Give me that. Give me that.
The Bills beat the Ravens. The Bills, I think, went into it as a 1.5 favorite right before the game. I'm pretty sure. Definitely a scary game. I think at half, I was still not very comfortable with it. What was it? It was a 21-10 at half.
Yeah, we went into half 21-10 and came out and really did nothing. Second half, I thought, like I was talking the entire time. So we got to the game, tailgate, rip a few beers, chilling, good time. It's protecting Kevin from some of the rowdy Bills fans. Pretty nice fan base. Apparently, we're voted as one of the worst fan bases in the NFL. I don't know about that. Donate a lot of money to charity.
Billy's got to be up there.
Billy's definitely up there, considering the one guy. He's banned for life.
He got fired from the job too.
Yeah, of course he did. You cannot. It doesn't matter if it's a fucking game. Yes. Would I be upset if the Bills lost yesterday and if a Ravens fan was giving it to me, I would give it back to them? Yes, 100%. I am never going to look at a woman and to her face in front of her be like, oh, you're an ugly, I won't say that word, cuts like a knife, and I do not like it. And if I said it, my mother probably killed me. But it's a nice see you next Tuesday, if you will. Yeah. And like, it's just, you can't say that. But back to the main event.
Main event.
Came out over here. Came out. I knew Baltimore was going to score right away. I knew they were going to come out firing, going to run it down our throats a bit. Lamar was going to find Rashad. I knew that. That was fine. Good. The Bills answering right away, gigantic. That was huge. There's a huge drive, I thought we were going to start just firing with Matt Collins down the sideline. Josh just overthrew him a little bit antsy. There's been a whole bunch of players who have played with Josh that the first few throws of the games have actually bruised their hands because he just whips the ball like a savage, like someone who I want to be my goddamn quarterback.
MVP.
Give it to me now. And, like it was good, 7-7, a little bit of toss-up kind of going in. And then Lamar just throws a lame duck. And you know what? I was rewatching the highlights today like a psychopath because I was literally at the game there yesterday. And the first thing I did when I got back home was I put the highlights on just to see. And I can see what he saw. He saw Rashad. He beat his guy one-on-one immediately. I believe it was against Rasul Douglas. Beat him immediately. What you should do if you're Rashad, and I get why he broke the route off a little bit, but just continue to carry. Like you've got him one-on-one. You've already got him in stride. You just have Taylor Rapp to beat. It could have easily been 40, 50-yard gain, maybe 70-yard touchdown. And just a kind of a lame duck throw up, and T-Rap went up there, got it. I love the man. T-Rap's one of my favorite Bills signings, to be quite honest.
Tough injury there. Hopefully he can play next weekend, but I don't really know what the issue is.
Did you see what he put his helmet and shoulder into Damar Hamlin? He didn't even hit the Ravens player.
Yikes.
Damar
Hamlin, though. Let me talk about Damar Hamlin.
Dude,
best game of his life, probably.
He led the team in tackles. He had 8 solo tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. Forced fumble, fucking 70-year-old Von Miller picks it up and is running like Thomas the fucking Tank Engine.
So badly.
Part of the reason my voice is gone is I was screaming all the way the entire time. My voice literally, I got home this morning, I could not talk for real. It's just coming back to me now. Probably going to be gone after this. But it was like go into half, so the forced fumble, the pick, the one holding call on Dion was just god awful, like horrible call. And you know what? We ended up getting it back.
Take those.
We ended up getting it back too with the goddamn the pass interference against Keon. Or who actually was the pass interference was against? Tre'Davious White. It's a Buffalo native.
Yeah.
That's a Buffalo native. Here we go. Mark Andrews and Tre'Davious White play for the Bills. They play for the Bills.
Yeah.
And then they came out after half, and I was like, we're going to double dip. We're going to go up 28-10, and we're going to put it down the Ravens, and it's going to be 35-10, and we're going to walk away and say, fuck you. This is the MVP. This is what MVPs do in the postseason.
Tony Romo said this is arguably one of the most important drives of the game. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's just like you end the half perfectly. You start the half with the ball. You can't have a 3-and-out. He's like, that's the last thing you need is a 3-and-out. Let's get some momentum. Hey, you may not score. You may just get a field goal, whatever. You can't go 3-and-out. And that's basically the next two drives is basically what happened. And Lamar, they ran the ball down the Bills' throats for that entire third quarter.
It was ridiculous.
They just put the biggest guys. Is it Lindenbaum, 70 on Baltimore? He is a monster. They put him all the big guys right on that front line, and Derrick Henry and Hill had their way.
Justice Hill ran the ball, arguably in my mind, better than Derrick Henry.
He was awesome. Henry kind of put his head down, but Hill was finding holes. He was making plays. Like he had some multiple 10 to 12 yard gains. Like he had a great game.
Yeah, he did. And then we get to the fourth quarter. Bills, we get down there, we get a field goal. We're 21. Oh no, we're 21-19, and get the ball, get a field goal, 24-19, 5-point game. A little bit worried. Had reminiscence of some prior Bills playoff seasons. And then we get the ball back, go down, and I see everyone kind of calling for Sean McDermott's head for not going for it and all this and that. And it's like, you're on the 2-yard line. And what I don't agree with what they did is you're on the 2-yard line, you have Josh Allen line up in shotgun. My biggest pet peeve with today's NFL is it'll be 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and you have a running back 8 yards in the backfield. So you are now making it more like when you hand that ball off, because you're handing it off 5 yards away from the line to gain, you're making it like a 3rd and 6 or a 3rd and 5. Do not put a fullback.
Yards. I hate the shotgun when you're 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Like Tony Romo was saying, you're third and goal, but you're on the 2. Do 2 QB sneaks. Your quarterback is 6'5", 240. Do 2 QB sneaks, and then we'll live it. If you don't, then it's like I don't get you. You line up back. You have, like you said, 8 yards back. You're losing yards. So they had to settle for a field goal, which I agreed was the right call for the field goal on that 4th down, because I think they lost 3 yards. And okay, fuck, we're not throwing this ball. But then I didn't understand that play. Then I was getting nervous. Okay, yeah, it's 8 points, but it's like. Fuck, you never know.
And then Lamar takes him 88 yards. But you know what? Real quick shout out to Tyler Bass. 10 for 10 in the postseason.
Let's go.
That's huge. I said to my dad on the way down there, because there's someone wearing a Tyler Bass jersey as we're on the way to the stadium, and my brother's buddy Mark looks at me and he goes, "Tyler Bass jersey, why would you buy that?" And I looked at him and I go, "Hey, he's gonna be Tyler Bass today. He's not gonna be Tyler Ass, and he's gonna fucking get out there, nail some kicks, and we're good. We're good." Yeah. But no, yes, that last.
I don't care where you are in the field, in that weather, making any type of kick is big. And he had a big kick. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like a 48-yarder, and it was like during those conditions, hitting that type of kick was huge.
That was to make it 24-19. That kick was gigantic. Huge. Yeah, the 88-yard drive epitomizes what the Ravens are supposed to be.
Yeah.
The Ravens are supposed to be what the Chiefs are. They have more weapons, in my opinion. The Chiefs are great weapons, really great, solid team. And the one thing that the Chiefs have, and I heard Colin Cowherd talking about this, he's like, the Bills are the Chiefs just without the hardware. They don't have the rings. They don't have the Super Bowl. But like the Ravens have, we talked about it before, like the Ravens had so much more to lose, because either team coming out of this game was going to have a bad narrative surrounding the team. Like Marlon Humphrey after the game in the locker room was getting talked to by the reporters, and he was like, "This team's done. There's a lot of guys who aren't going to be here next year. Like, that's why I was saying, like, Marlon Humphrey, amazing, top, easily one of the top corners in the league, one of the top, like 100%. But when you have personalities on a team like that, and obviously you're coming fresh off a loss too, which is why I hate reporters in locker rooms. You should not be able to, and I understand you got a job to do. You have pieces you got to write, you get paid, right? But these players, their entire lives since they were a kid was to win the Super Bowl, to get to that final stage. And you're now going to go interview and be like, oh, so what do you think you could do next year? You mean next year when I have to play 17 more fucking games and then possibly play another 4 and have to win 4 straight to win a Super Bowl? How about we think about what just happened out there on the field, right? And
they also like the exit interviews like the next day. Like they had the exit, press conferences. Why do you need to interview a guy after the biggest loss of their career?
Yeah,
I like it for like the sound bites are hilarious. Basically like, oh, fuck this team, not going to do anything. But like realistically, just wait a day. Like I don't know. It'll never happen. That's something that's not even considered. But yeah, I agree with you.
And again, like we shout out Mark Andrews at the beginning. I've never felt worse for a player.
I love Mark Andrews. That's horrible. I feel bad.
He's an amazing player, amazing guy. Just overall in his career, I think 4 fumbles lost. 4.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he has one in which that fumble loss was gigantic. That was huge. It was a huge change in the game. You could feel the momentum kind of swing away because Baltimore was starting to drive and they're starting to get into a rhythm. And you could feel the momentum change. And then you go down there and we couldn't really see after they're going for that 2-point conversion, which I'm going to get to this in a second because there needs to be a conversation surrounding the offensive play call during that 2-point conversion. It is almost up there for me with Seahawks, Patriots, Marshawn Lynch. You have one of the best running backs that runs downhill. Line him up 5 yards deep and say, best on best, I want you to tackle Derrick Henry.
Yeah. He's doing it all game. Like, yeah, there's some stops that the Bills had, but I mean, their stops were 2-3 yards. They stopped them. That's what you needed for the 2-point conversion. So I don't understand. Yeah, like you said, put your fucking head down. We're gonna fucking meet helmet to helmet, and we're gonna see if we're gonna either take this to overtime or Bills win. And that's what again, it was a wide open throw. It was a great play. Snowy conditions, he dropped the ball. Just simple as that. He dropped the ball.
He dropped the ball, and it was a bad throw. Like, in all honesty, it's not a great throw. It was behind him. It was at his knees. He was already kind of falling down. Like, and it's tough too, is the Ravens put out before the game. There's a video on Instagram, and it was Mark Andrews is not afraid of some snow. It's like, well, it turns out he may be. You know who's not afraid of snow? Dalton Kincaid. You know who's not afraid of snow? Dawson Knox. You know who's not afraid of snow? Matt Milano.
Let me tell you about this guy. He is a disruptor. I didn't know about him much, and then I think I heard more about him from you, and then you have the sick jersey. He is an animal. Absolute animal. He's like Jalen Carter. He has his mitts on every single play.
The 2-point conversion they went for in the beginning of the game, who tipped that ball? Matt Milano. He's a silent assassin, doesn't talk to anyone, won't say anything. Sean McDermott had one of the funniest quotes I've heard. He was like, you know how Matt Milano doesn't talk to you? Yeah, well, he says probably 2 words to me, so don't take it personally. Like, he is a silent assassin, tore both of his biceps in the beginning of the season, came back and is playing, obviously not to the level he was playing before he got hurt last year.
Yeah.
But our linebacker core with Dorian Williams, Terrell Bernard, and like Matt Milano. Oh, that's
Stop it.
Oh, and let me tell you something about Roquan Smith.
How's his pass coverage game?
Let me tell you, we didn't have a lot of passes. Craziest stat of the game was that Josh Allen in the first half threw 7 passes. Crazy, absolutely nuts. But at the end of the day, like, he was like, it gets to a point. It's like, man, how are you going to pay these guys this much money? And it's the production.
Like $110 million or something he got.
Yeah, it's like a 4-year deal, and he is a great linebacker. He's an amazing linebacker. But you need, in today's day and age, where you have running backs like you look at teams. Justice Hill, amazing running back, great receiving running back. James Cook, amazing running back, great receiving running back. Ty Johnson, great receiving running back. you have all these teams who are now setting themselves up because those swing play action pass out of the backfield, like it's running back's the easy check down. And then if you have a running back who has got a mismatch on a linebacker, like Breece Hall said at the beginning of the year when the Titans played the Jets and the Jets just barely beat them. And Aaron Rodgers was like, Breece came up to me at the beginning and was like, if they put the linebacker on me, throw me the ball. Throw me the ball. I will destroy him. And he did. He mossed him. Like, you know, it's just, I don't know. I'm super happy with the Bills win. I am super nervous for next week, but you know what? We're riding a high. I really think if there's one team who would be able to stop the Chiefs, it's the Bills, and we've done it once this year. And
we're basically the only team that beat them this year. You can say you want about Denver, but they started there. We beat the only team that beat Mahomes. Basically, we're the only team that beat Mahomes this year. So, right now the Chiefs are 2-point favorites. Sunday night, it's our time. It has to be. It's been such a long time coming. Josh Allen wants it more than anybody. I think he gets it done.
They have to go into that game and just let Josh be Josh. The game plan they had for the Ravens was great. I love the way that they went.
What you want to give how he did 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he didn't really throw the ball much. He played a game that we won. Like he was efficient ball in that condition, and he played the right way.
It was great. Like, but this game, we need a 4th and 2. Oh, the play of the year. Give me inject in my veins. 41-yard rushing touchdown, Josh Allen. I need it. I want it. I gotta have it.
Our intro. It's literally our intro. They can't do again. I hate bringing up Tony Romo because he can piss me off sometimes. He made good points. Like just sometimes it's just you want to run down the clock. You want like when they're up 21, then you want to run the clock. You want to run the ball, but it's like you can't run the ball twice in a row, get 3 yards out of that, then give Josh Allen a 3 and 7 or 3rd and 7. Right? Run a screen, run a play action, do the things that Josh Allen can do. I think that's what we're gonna have to do against the Chiefs. I don't want to see unless James Cook and Ray Davis were cooking at that time, which they did have incredible games. Or at least Ray Davis. Let me tell you about him. He was awesome that game.
He was really
good.
They
kind of have to figure out if they have a lead at half. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what they're doing. Let Josh do what he is doing and let him just roll the game.
For the love of God, please do not throw a fucking screen pass to Dawson Knox on 3rd and 6. Like, Jesus Christ, man. What are you enough with the lateral shit. It's fucking god awful. Just easy, quick ends. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. So AFC Championship Sunday night, 6:30. We got the Bills, Chiefs, 2-point favorites. You know who we're going with. But it's gonna be a great game. That's gonna be the game of the year. Even though last night was basically the game of the year, but this is gonna be a great game. I don't care as much for the NFC Championship. Eagles are 5.5-point favorites as of now over Washington. I have the Commanders. Even though
Commanders.
Eagles are one of the most hospitable, home arenas there is. I would put Arrowhead and maybe Philly. I mean, obviously Orchard Park there as well. But Eagles 5.5. I'm taking Jane Dales and the Commanders there. How about you? Not much to say.
I'll take the Commanders. I'll ride with it.
Hurts is hurt, even though again, like I said, he's a bit overrated. He's still a great quarterback. If he's hurt, and if they can hold Saquon to 100 yards, I think they win.
Dude, their defense is pretty good too. Like their defense, I really like.
Bobby Wagner's a monster. I love him. I love him on Seattle.
Bobby Wagner forever.
Yeah. All right, so we have some other. So I don't know if you have any more football talk. We can briefly talk about UFC, PGA. Obviously, there's a national championship on tonight. Let's quickly talk about the national championship. I honestly kind of forgot about college football for these past 2 weeks. It's been all divisional and the wild card. But just quickly, Ohio State versus Notre Dame tonight starts. Actually, it already started, I think.
Yeah, it's already.
Ohio State 8.5-point favorites. I mean, I have Ohio State covering that spread. I don't.
Yeah, that's my lock of the week.
Is it?
Yeah.
Should we get a lock of the week right now?
Yeah. Well, my lock of the week, I got Jeremiah Smith anytime TD, Riley Leonard anytime TD, and I didn't take Ohio State. I just took the over, which I think the over was set at 45.5.
Oh, I like that over. I like
that a lot. It's 20 to pay out 104. So I like that. I take that.
Yeah. I have also, first off, let me rephrase that. So we do these lock of the weeks at the end of each segment. So far we're not locks. We're 0-1.
We're both 0-1.
Pretty poorly 0-1. But I have something very similar. I have Jeremiah Smith anytime. He didn't really do much last game. I think he's going to explode. He's one of the most exciting freshman running or wide receivers we've ever seen. Will Howard, 225 plus. He's been throwing over 275 the last few games. And Riley Leonard, I mean, he only threw 90 against Georgia. I think he threw around 200 against Penn State. I have him over 200 yards. Just $5 win 33. I like that one.
Yeah,
but yeah, I like yours too. I think we're very similar. I think Notre Dame can make it a game. I think they can put up 20, but I think Ohio State can put up like 40. So
yeah,
I think
it's going to be tough. It depends on what Ohio State we get. If
they get Oregon game Ohio State, it's going to be a shellacking.
Yeah.
But quickly, I don't know if you watched the UFC. We again, I know we're called Buds Mafia. We love all sports here, besides baseball and basketball. Fuck those two. But UFC, I don't know if you watched a ton. It kind of happened the way. Actually, well, Hill versus Yuri. Yuri dominated early. Hill was the favorite. Kind of same there. I don't know who this Peyton Taylor is. Did you hear about him in the preliminary? He was a minus 1,200 to win, and he got knocked out.
Peyton Talbot. He's supposed to be really good, and he is a good fighter. But I think it's the same thing with anything, man. Like UFC's tough. Like we see it all the time. You know, like obviously you have those dominant fighters. Like you have your Islams, your Habibs, your whoever, and at the end of the day, you know what? The face of adversity either breaks you or boosts you up. And, I think he's going to be really good. To me, it kind of is like, it's not the same as Patty because Patty hasn't lost yet, but it's the same kind of like the UFC's trying to pump him up, right? They're looking for those Connors out the door. Habib's gone. Poirier, Oliveira, even like, Chandler, they're all kind of legacy fights now. Like, obviously, we're gonna end up one of them's gonna end up fighting for the belt again, and probably Oliveira. But they're getting to legacy fights. Like, I don't know, the UFC. I didn't watch it. I just watched the highlights, and I placed a couple bets, but it went the exact way that I thought. Like, the people I took Merab immediately.
Umar was a minus 275. I know he's undefeated, but Merab's a good fighter. Like, I mean, I'm surprised the odds are that.
He's a great fighter. The
way that it would be a wrestling match, but I know Umar's priority is Muay Thai, but Merab can stand in there, and he did, and he kind of pieced up Umar. I mean, Umar never got knocked out, his first loss, but I think Merab won that fight from round 1 to round 5.
Yeah. Well, I was telling you, I took Merab decision, and then I took Islam first round submission, made some coin. Yeah,
so I bet Islam because on Bet365, his odds from decision by submission was went from like minus 160 to plus 160. So I hammered that, put the rest of the funds on there, came out big. I don't know if you saw that fight, early scare. What's the guy's name? Moicano?
Moicano, yeah.
Yeah, so he got him clean a little bit, and he kind of fell back. I was like, you're kidding me, right? Because I think he went into it. I think it went up to like a minus 1,500 Islam or 1,200. Yeah. And then he made one takedown, and it was over.
Well, that's the thing. That was my whole thing is that Moicano, like, again, I feel bad for the kid or the guy because he went into it like you're going into it on a whim. It's either like, and he knew because he's training for a 3-round fight, right? Like he's not training for a 5-round fight. You're going into that fight now thinking I need to get him out of there in the first or second round. And if I don't get him out of there in the first or second round, like, obviously you're not thinking that you're going to lose, but your odds are drastically when you have someone who's like Islam, who's riding a 5-fight win streak, every single one of his last 15-fight win streak, every single one of his last 5 fights has been over 5 rounds, probably more than that. And Moicano is an amazing fighter. He's really, really good, got crazy power in his hands, good jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't know. And with the Yuri Jamal Hill to me is like, as soon as he got injured, fighters are never the same once they get injured. They fight a little bit timid. And his whole thing with the Alex Pereira thing, he moved in after I kicked him in the cup. It's like, well, dude, you kicked him in the nuts, first of all. Alex Pereira fought it off because he's an absolute warrior and then dropped you and hammer-fisted you into the depths of the earth. Like, get over it. I love Yuri. I love what Yuri did.
Even though I bet Hill, I was cheering for Yuri, honestly.
Yeah, he brought in that girl who had she had some form of cancer and donated $50,000, and Dana White immediately matched the $50,000, gave $100,000. Like that's
the guy.
That's a top notch. That's a top notch dude right there.
Yeah. So we're just about wrapping up here. We do with when football ends, we do me and Jackson love golf. We love golf a lot, especially when the times when there's not a lot going on. At least we got golf. Quick event. I mean, Seb Straka wins his third PGA event in American Express. Justin Thomas solid. What did he finish? 6 under on Sunday.
He was 6 under on Sunday, 23 under overall, and Straka was 2 under through the final round, so he was 25 under overall. Crazy good event though. Like golf this year, especially with TGL and everything. I don't know if you watched TGL yet.
I love it. I like it.
I like it a lot too. Golf's on the rise. It really is. You got the YouTube golf, you got everything like that. Ryan and I this summer, or even in the sim, are going to do a little one-on-one competition. We're about about the same kind of handicap. Ryan's just plays his slice pretty well, and
call what you want. Farmers Insurance open next weekend. I think Xander's still out of that. I think he got hurt. I think Scotty's still out. I think what we say the first elevated event is the Pro-Am at Pebble.
It's the Pro-Am. That's the $20 million. That's the first one. I think that's the first one. The first one might have been the Century.
Oh, it was a Century back in December. Yeah, you're right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're football and hockey is the main thing, but we love all events. I mean, I don't mind baseball, I don't mind basketball, no, I hate basketball. But we'll talk about golf, we'll talk about UFC every now and then. We're just gonna wrap up here. We have two more segments we want to just end on here. Let's do we're gonna do our penalty box segment. We're gonna say a guy or whoever basically who had a rough week, kind of maybe we don't like. It could be anything. It could be your fiance for all we know is in the penalty box. We don't know. Shout out to her. But I'm going to start it off here. I was going to say Kansas City refs, but honestly, again, that didn't cost Houston the game. That didn't cost them the game. So I'm not going to go that. Even like I said, with basketball, I hate basketball. Jimmy Butler is in my penalty box. I despise him more than anyone in the world. He is so annoying. The power these athletes have nowadays is so frustrating. You're not like your prime Jimmy Butler back when you're 28, 29. You're still a good player, but you're 35, demanding things, blaming on an organization, opening up coffee shops, saying that saying nice things to your employees, like, oh, that's how you treat your employees. I mean, again, I'm not sitting beside Pat Riley right now in the Heat organization. I can't say what's being there, but grow the fuck up, play. If you want to get traded, say you want to get traded, but play your balls off till you get traded and fuck off.
Yeah, the basketball, I just don't care. Like, they're amazing athletes, 100%. You know, you're top notch, whatever. Fuck off. You bounce a ball on a court, and I'm sure basketball fans are gonna hate that. But like, the one thing I can't stand about live basketball games, you got music playing while they're dribbling up and down the court. Like, more power to you if you love it. That's just not for me.
All right, so my penalty box is Jimmy Butler's in my penalty box. Who's in your penalty box for this past week?
I'm going with Keyshawn Johnson. He's a sports analyst, and he came out and said that the Ravens' defensive game plan is going to be the easiest defensive game plan they've had all year. And let me tell you, roll the fucking tape. Roll the tape. You dumb fucking idiot. You can't. I get it. Sports pundits, we're gonna do it too. You gotta have some outlandish shit to make sure that you get clicks, and you gotta get paid, and you gotta keep the lights on and everything. But how about you watch some tape? Yeah. Just because you have to take care of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
James Cook, 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah.
15 TDs in the regular season. Keon Coleman can make contested catches. Great rookie wide receiver. Only had one catch in the game. Still won. Don't care. Yep. Don't care. Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is going to get attention when he's on the football field. Amazing veteran wide receiver. Easiest game ever. Easiest defensive game plan. No.
Fuck off.
5-minute major. Fuck off.
All right, we're about wrapping up here. We're going to end this podcast with another new segment. We want to keep doing these. Let us know in the comments you think if they're stupid or you love them or you want a different variation of them. We want to try new stuff all the time. But this segment's called Betting the Farm, where we just come up with a parlay and prove to you why it's going to change your life and why it may be the best decision of your life. I don't know. Do you want to kick this one off here, Jackson?
Yeah, well, it's not going to change your life because I'm my Bet the Farm is happening currently, and
Those mine.
I got a 10-pick parlay on the national championship game. I'm just gonna rattle off everything, and we'll see where it goes. I got Jeremiah Smith anytime TD, Jadarian Price anytime TD, Riley Leonard anytime TD, Notre Dame total points over 14.5. Jeremiah Smith 80+ receiving, Jeremiah Love 40+ rushing, Travion Henderson 40+ rushing, Riley Leonard 177+ passing, Will Howard 250+ passing, and Ohio State to win. Money line.
Seems like a lock to me.
Plus 10,000, $10 wager pays out $1,000.
I mean,
it's trust me, I'm not gonna lie. I was putting it together. I was like, let me tell you something.
So this one needs some little build up here. So I got a 9-leg parlay here. Not 10, it's 9. I wanted to just make it easier for the fans. So it's a plus 35,000. 20 cents to win $70.
Let's go.
We're gonna start with something easy here. Ohio State money line minus 425. Lock it the fuck in. St. Louis Blues money line plus 165 against the Vegas Golden Knights. Currently up 4-2, by the way.
Here we go.
Columbus Blue Jackets money line again up 1-0 against the New York Islanders. Toronto Maple Leafs money line. Guess what? Poppy scored. It's 1-0.
No, let's go. Let's go.
Chicago Blackhawks pulling off the upset against Carolina Hurricanes plus 255. Winnipeg Jets over the Utah Hockey Club minus 185. And for ending hockey here, LA Kings over the Pittsburgh Penguins minus 190. But are we stopping there, Jackson? No, we are not. We are heading to Abu Dhabi in the biggest cricket match I have ever seen, the Central District. Northern District versus Central District. I'm taking Central District minus 125. People have been doubting them all season. I'm taking the Central here and wrapping it up. I'm taking MI Emirates over Abu Dhabi Knight Riders. I hate the Knight Riders. Give me MI Emirates minus 163, 20 cents, $70. Bet the farm. I guarantee it.
Well, the MI Knight Riders is great.
And that, my friends, is episode 2 of Bud's Mafia. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you bet the farm. Jackson, I love you. Big Bills game this weekend. Let's go Bills. Let's go Leafs. Let's get it done.
Let's get it done. Lock it the fuck in. Oh, I love it. Cheers, brother.
Fakes left. Now taking off. Gonna run for it. They got it.